So now we come to the stanza number 70, 9th chapter, Bodhicharyavatara. So again, to refute some of the allegations or debates about the selflessness, the view of selflessness. So here, if there is no permanent self, then some people say that then how can there be karma and its results? And another is if there is no self, then all the sentient beings are selfless, and why you have to be compassionate? There's no need of any compassion. So first we deal with the first, and so that I will first read out the Tibetan and then English. Kalte don yuman na lindin de varimante lizin ne hibina suili sunjur henas. So the English is if self does not exist, you say, there is no link connecting actions with results. If when the deed is done, the doer is no more, who is there to reap the karmic fruit? So if you say that there is nothing called self or I, which is truly there or permanently there, then there should not be any karmic results or karma and its results. It is said, if self does not act, there is no link that connects with the action of the karma and then the result that who experiences that the result of the karma. There is no link, because when the deed is done, when a positive or negative action or deed is done, and then the doer of that deed is gone, is changed, and so therefore maybe next life or even in this life, it's in the future, the result comes in the future, so that future person who actually gets the result is not the one who actually accumulated the action, so therefore how can there be a connection with the karmic fruit and the karmic action? So therefore, if there is no self, if there is no truly existing self, then the karma and the result cannot be on the same person. So to this, then the answer is there are three kind of answers. Shawa dije tade tong dedo sheba meba yung yega nika la trepi dachi teme mayanams. So the first is that, to say that those who are saying this, these questions, also believes that the self, which the person who does the action, that person dies, and so therefore all his or her faculties, the body, all the things that changes, because the one who gets the result is totally different body, a different birth, and things like that. Only the Atma, or the self, which is there, is the same. So then the basis of the act and fruit are not the same. In both, a self is without scope for action. In both, a self is without scope for action. This is valid both for you and us. You say that self is something without action. Self is permanent, and therefore it cannot make actions or activities. And so therefore that self or Atma, even if it might be the same with which with life you are performing the actions, and then the life where you are ripening the result, but everything else is different. All the activities, who is making the actions, the body, the speech, the mental activities, everything that making the actions, this is gone, and you have a new life, new body, new everything. So, then how can that be? Because there's a self or Atma which is permanent, which is actionless, which is unchanging. Even if it is there, then how then can you, this body which is totally different, can get the results of somebody who has done the action. So this is a kind of what can you say, answer to the same question. Like, it's the same with your view and my view. Then the real answer is, so that first I read the Tibetan. I think I read already this last Tibetan. Shawan di tate to. Teda shepa mepa yung yuganika latripin the zedeme mayan. But there's no nothing to debate. It's a similar. Now the real jiten dribu tongchi hi tongdan submayins. This is the real, answer kind of. The English is a cause coterminous with its result is something quite impossible to see. There cannot be the cause and action, the cause and its result you cannot possibly see it together. Because when the action or the cause is there, you cannot have the result or the reaction of that cause, because the cause has to disintegrate in order to have the result. Like when you plant a flower, the seed has to disintegrate, and out of that the plant has to come. So then, in the same way, the cause and the result can never happen. But that doesn't mean that that cause is not the, that seed is not the cause of that flower, not the result. So in the same way, although, from our point of view, from the Buddhist point of view, the person or the person, you can say, the individual who makes the action, who takes the action, whether it's positive, negative, whatever, accumulate or makes the action, who does the action, and the one that gets the result can never be same. But because it's in the same stream, it's the same stream, so therefore you cannot miss it. It has to be there only. For instance, if you plant, like same example, if you plant a grain like rice, if you plant rice, although that rice that you plant will disintegrate, but it will, from that, with all the other causes and conditions are ripened, then another set of rice grows and ripens, and it will never be that you sow a rice and a wheat comes out of that, or you sow something here in this place, and then the plant will grow somewhere else. It is not possible. So in the same way, the karmic connections happens like that. Karmic connections happens because it's interdependent, because it is, there's no true existence. It's because of so many causes and conditions. That's why it happens. If it was permanent, if it was just unchanging, if it was only one, then this kind of cause and results would not happen. But of course, ultimately, there is nothing called self, but relatively everything is there, and therefore all these causes and conditions and karma and it results and all these things will keep on going. In a dreamlike situation, in a what can you say, in a unrealistic, unreal situation, like a magic or miracle, or like illusion, whatever you call it, it keeps on happening. Something, and only in the context of a single mental stream can be said one who acts will later reap the fruit. So this is, as I said before, Jijilan tennis, shepo hisar tennis, because it is the same continuum. That's why you call it, this is the same actor, and this is the same who enjoy or who suffers the result. The thoughts now past and those to come are not the self. They are no more or are not yet. Is then the self the thought which now is born? If so, it sinks to nothing, then the latter fades. If so, it sinks to nothing when the latter fades. They are no more or are not yet. Can it be said that one who acts will later reap the fruit? The thoughts now past, and those to come are not the self. They are no more or are not yet. Is then the self the thought which now is born? If so, it sinks to nothing when the latter fades. For instance, we may take banana trees, cutting through the fibers, finding nothing. Likewise, analytical investigation will find no I, no underlying self. So this is 74. And the Tibetan is Nidung mangu pai sen daman tene me pisha wente sisem da ina teki nayu da me tos. Pena chehi dompoto chehi sena nga me pa teki number she pai tanda da chun da means. Of course, Buddha said that, whatever actions, positive or negative, you do, you ripen and experience the result of that action or that karma only on that person and nobody else or nothing else. So sometimes people think that means there is something, there is a truly existing person from the Buddha's point of view who would actually, do the action and that same person which exists, kind of life after life, in a true way, also kind of bear or experience the result of that karma. But that's true in a relative sense. In a relative sense, it's true. Because everything is actually that. The whole process of all the beings is that it's a continuum of what causes and conditions that we create this moment will result the next experience or the existence of me. And then the causes and conditions that's created then, together with all the causes conditions coming from before, will create the next moment. And it will go on like this. And, but if you think that in this happening, there should be something there, truly existing, or truly substantial, as some kind of a core, or some kind of a, durable, or something that is, a permanent and one and truly existing thing, you cannot find it. The example given is like the banana tree, for instance. And the banana tree, if you can take off one layer, then you find another, and you take one, then another, and so even if you at the end you will find nothing there. Although it looks like a huge kind of a trunk, but if you pile off all the different layers, there is nothing. So in the same way, the way everybody is, the way an individual exists, is also like that. It's lots of, the way we are at this moment is because of all our past, and then the way we will become is also because of all the causes and conditions that we create. Because of that, we see things, we experience things, we become things, and then, the next we will create another. So that, but therefore, in the same way, there is nothing there called Atma or true self. It's just a continuum. So that continuum will go on as long as you have the sense, you have the what can you say? You have not done away with your misunderstanding. You've done away with your kind of ignorance of holding on to yourself, and with ignorance, with misunderstanding, with aversion and attachment as a self. When you truly understand the true nature of it, the selflessness nature of it, then you will understand. You will be free from that. You will be free from the samsaric experiences, but not necessarily completely. Then you will be the continuing with the wisdom way of all the enlightened experience will continue. So I think that is, I think I'll stop here. Thank you.